The truth beneath the rain. The morning light spread softly across the village, a delicate veil of gold after a night of rain. Dewdrops lingered on the banana leaves, glittering like tiny crystals under the sun. From the small thatched house at the end of the lane, Diep stepped out, barefoot, her old brown shirt clinging lightly to her shoulders. In the coop, chickens clucked impatiently while ducks stretched their necks toward the yard, quacking for food. Diep smiled faintly as she opened the gate, letting them scatter across the damp earth to peck at the scattered rice. Her toes pressed into the cool mud. It was a familiar rhythm, work she had done countless mornings before. It was hard labor, yes, but it grounded her. It gave her peace. When the chores were done, she went inside and gently woke little Nhi. The child rubbed her eyes, still wrapped in dreams, yet obediently followed her mother to the table. Breakfast was humble. A bowl of rice porridge, a few slices of pickled cucumber, but warmth filled the air more than the meal itself. After eating, Diep walked Nhi down the narrow lane, their fingers intertwined. The road still smelled of wet soil and wildflowers after the rain. When the school gate appeared, the cheerful chatter of children echoed through the air. Diep crouched to smooth Nhi's hair. Go to class, sweetheart. I'll pick you up early. She watched her daughter disappear through the gate, her small frame swallowed by the crowd. A quiet smile touched Diep's lips, until a memory struck her like a cold wind. My parents are still alive. Those words, spoken by her ex-husband the night before, replayed in her mind, sharp and haunting. Could it be true? Walking home, her thoughts tangled like vines. For years, she had lived with the belief that her parents died in an accident. It was a wound she had learned to carry, not question. But now, that old certainty wavered. What if everything she'd been told was a lie? Inside the house, James had just returned from the market. When he saw Diep folding clothes into a travel bag, he frowned in confusion. Where are you going, Diep? She turned, her expression determined but soft. I need to see my foster uncle. I have to ask about my parents. I need to know if it's true. James studied her face for a long moment, then nodded. Then I'm coming with you. You don't have to go alone. She hesitated, torn between fear and relief, before finally agreeing. The visit. The road to her foster uncle's house was lined with the familiar landmarks of her childhood, old bamboo fences, a leaning roof she once hid under during rain, the whisper of crickets in the grass. But now, each memory carried a strange ache. When they arrived, her uncle was sitting on the porch, sorting a basket of vegetables. His hair had thinned, and his eyes seemed smaller than she remembered. But when he looked up, his face lit with a warm smile. Diep, my child, it's been so long. Diep bowed politely, steadying her breath. Yes, uncle. I came to visit, and I have something important to ask. He looked up, curious. What's so serious, my dear? Her voice trembled. Are my biological parents really still alive? The sound of the question seemed to freeze the air. His hands stopped moving. A flicker of confusion crossed his face, or was it guilt? After a long pause, he sighed. Who told you that? My ex-husband, Diep answered quietly. He said my parents weren't dead. That they sent me away because they were poor. Her uncle looked down, silent for what felt like an eternity. Then he shook his head. No, Diep. Your parents are gone. Everyone in the village knows about that accident. Don't let foolish rumors reopen your wounds. The words struck her like a blade. The fragile hope that had flickered in her chest extinguished in an instant. Yet something about his tone, too careful, too rehearsed, gnawed at her. Why would he lie? She asked softly. But her uncle didn't meet her eyes. He simply muttered, some people like to stir up old stories. Let the past rest. James stood quietly beside her, studying every twitch of the old man's expression. There was fear in his eyes, not confusion. But he said nothing. On the way home, Diep walked in silence, tears slipping down her cheeks. James, she whispered, he was hiding something. I could see it. James nodded grimly. I think so too. Maybe the neighbors know more. We can ask around. The denial. That afternoon, they visited an elderly man who lived near her childhood home. His back was bent, but his voice was still kind when he recognized her. Is that you, Diep? My, how you've grown. Diep sat down, her tone respectful but urgent. Grandfather, I need to ask about my parents. Are they really gone? The old man's smile faded. He sighed deeply, shaking his head. My dear, that was long ago. They passed away. Best not to reopen old wounds. But please, Diep pressed, if they're alive, I want to find them. I can't live my life wondering. He looked at her for a long moment, then lowered his gaze. They're gone, child. Accept peace while you can. Diep said nothing more. Her lips quivered, but no sound came out. James thanked the old man softly and led her outside. As soon as they stepped into the quiet street, she broke down. Everyone says the same thing, James. But I can feel they're lying. Why won't anyone tell me the truth? James wrapped his arms around her. Then we'll keep going. If no one here will speak, we'll go to your hometown. I'll be with you, until you have your answer. The night of resolve. That night, Diep sat on the porch beneath a sky scattered with stars. The air smelled of damp soil and fading rain. NHI slept soundly inside, and James had turned in early, but Diep's eyes remained wide open, glistening with unshed tears. The denials she'd heard that day, calm, practiced, identical, only deepened her conviction. There was a secret, something buried so long ago that no one dared touch it. The night wind swept through the trees, brushing her face like a whisper. She drew her shawl tighter and looked toward the dark road ahead. Somewhere beyond the horizon lay the truth, and she would find it, no matter what waited for her there. That night, Diep made a silent vow: the next dawn would not find her still wondering. It would find her searching, because some truths, no matter how long they've been buried, do not die. They wait, quietly, for the courage of the living to uncover them.